inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch, no. Real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Hey ladies, what's going on? Oh wow, I had a very random thought about money. You know, people talk about money mindset all the time and getting your shit together and changing how you think and telling you that a lot of the shit that you do, it's all about whether or not you're believing that you deserve abundance. But, you know, along with wanting the divine to bless you, there's this thing called stewardship, or maybe you prefer the word responsibility. So let's have a conversation about money and, you know, where our habits come from. I'm going to share something with you. Everybody's different, right? A lot of you want to be successful in business. You want to get out here and be able to brag that, you know, you close, you know, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month in sales, and you can barely budget $500 on your check that comes every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And so, I was just sitting back and looking at how far I've come and analyzing the financial decisions that I've had to make and really tripping off the fact that I learned about how to handle money from the school of hard knocks. And most of us, you know, at least if you follow me, you've learned how to handle money from the school of hard knocks. It took, you know, the embarrassment of all of the calls and you filing bankruptcy after running up credit cards and stuff like that. You know, it took something getting disconnected, you know, in order for you to be like, oh my God, I need my lights or my phone back on, back when we had landlines, for you to be like, oh my God, I got to pay my bills on time, and so on and so forth. Or maybe even suffering from a repossession. I don't know. But most of us weren't groomed to know what to do with our money. And I'm talking about even beyond saving, you know, about investing. Everybody doesn't necessarily want to do stocks, but what were you exposed to as far as making your money make money for you? So anyway, I'm going to tell you something. When I was growing up, the biggest thing that I was taught in regards to money was that you better know how to make it. So with that being said, guess what? I can get out here and I can go make me some money. It's nothing for me to get my hustle up and to get my money on, because that's something I've always done. And it's not even necessarily because I was taught that. It was just also the way that I'm wired. So as a child, I remember that, you know, our family always celebrated Christmas. Yes, I used to celebrate Christmas, and I wanted to be able to buy everybody gifts too. So I remember I couldn't have been more than 10 years old. It was like, if I save money from now,
until December, this is in October, I could buy people Christmas gifts too. So then I go to my granny and say, hey, granny, these aren't my days to do the dishes. If I do them on this day, will you pay me 50 cents? Or if I clean out your car, will you pay me for that? And I would stack my money up, and then one of my aunts would take me to the store, and then I'd be able to get gifts for everybody. So making money was never really my issue. In high school, part of the reason why I learned to make a lot of money was because while I was living with my dad, it didn't feel good, to be embarrassed because your shoes weren't as new. All of the other girls in high school had the latest and greatest hairstyles, and I didn't want to be looking like basically a piece of shit, and I didn't want to be embarrassed. So what did I do? I learned how to braid hair. I practiced and learned how to do my own ponytails. That at least made my hair look good. But what about my, my clothes and stuff like that? Well, it's like once people were seeing what I was doing with my hair, it was like, well, can you do my hair? And so a lot of younger people were going to the Animal House, the teen club, and going out and kicking it. You didn't see me at those places. It wasn't until I got older and started staying on my own, even though I did get my first place when I was 19, that I really started like hanging out at the skating rink and going to clubs. But unlike my friends and stuff in school, I had to make money just in order to be able to look the part, to be able to have lunch money and not just rely on, free lunch, and to be able to at least keep a decent pair of shoes on my feet. And so when I really think about the fact that I'm frugal and how tight I am with money, I can't even say that it's naturally the way that I am. It's naturally been the way that I've survived. I'm a very frugal woman, and some adjustments and changes in my life have required me to step up out of that comfort zone. What's the point of me doing what I'm doing as a business owner if I'm still, counting every penny, nervous about making certain moves, not wanting to upgrade my lifestyle or travel more or whatever? What memories am I going to create right now? That's what my mind says. And then I'm the kind of person that's like, well, you never know what's going to happen. So you've got to be thinking long term. So hold it. But holding money has never made anybody rich. Taking the money and investing it so that it can make money for you, investing in something that you do so that you can make more money yourself, that has to be part of the equation. And yeah, I do believe that you should watch your money. I was watching an interview with Kevin Gates, and he said one of the best things that ever happened to him was that he sat next to a billionaire on a plane, and he was like, yo, man, I watch every dime. And he's like, nah, man, if you want to get to where I'm at, you need to watch every penny. And so we do need to watch the money. But I'm just saying, how many of you have done a really deep dive to see why you are the way you are with money? I remember when I got my first apartment, I was only 19 years old. And one of the first things that I was taught was that, there's a due date on a bill, but you don't have to pay it on the due date. You can pay it by the delinquent date. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So then the money I got, that mean I could hold it, and I could, spend it on something else. Ain't wrong. The first time I did that, and that's back in the day when it was Southwestern Bell in St. Louis, my first phone bill was $80. And when the due date came, I didn't pay it. And the next day I picked up my phone. I'm like, why it ain't working? And I remember being so embarrassed. It was the first and the last time that I called my grandmother and said, can I borrow the money? I knew I was going to do hair that weekend, and I had to hurry up and get the money. I had to pay extra fees for it to go through Western Union in order for me to get it cut back on, because it was the weekend. There's a lot of things that were so different back in the day. But I was like, oh, this shit is for the birds. And guess what? I waited to pay it, and I'm like, but the next bill came the next month, and it was still due on the same fucking day, so it's like, oh no, I don't like all of these bills, running into each other. And so then after that, it was like, oh, you're approved for credit. And, people say, oh, credit. People would say stuff like cash is king. But it's like, if you don't have credit, you can't make it in this world. So then what did I do? I was like, oh, well, they're offering me credit cards. Of course they are, because I'm young and so damn responsible. And, college students, card. Here you go. Take it. And, credit's not looking good. Younger, when I bought my first car, interest rate wasn't necessarily all that great. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it was pretty high, not even because I had bad credit, but because of my age. I needed a co-signer, and the banks wanted to know that they get the majority of their money up front if I were to default on the loan, which I didn't. But I got myself out of all of my financial situations by working my ass off and making a shit ton of money. And there's so many different ways that this conversation could go after I've said all of that. But what I can honestly say right now is that the reason why my space has changed in life and my experiences have changed in life, it isn't because I know how to make money. It is because I have learned how to capitalize on making money more easily. Because I know a lot of people that can work really, really hard and do 12, 14, 16-hour shifts or work, standard 8 to 10-hour shifts, work out every day of the week. There's a lot of things that I can do. But we are in an era of intellectual property, and I don't care what you do. There is some way, somehow you can take your knowledge, you can bottle it up, and you don't have to think as hard. You don't have to work as hard. You don't have to move as much, and you can utilize resources and make as much money as you want. And you can tap into people all around the world. A lot of you, it really isn't about whether or not you're responsible. It's really about how are you leaning in and taking advantage of these systems. And so now I won't get into, investing in different things like that. But I will say this. You need to ask yourself, do I really value what I bring to the table? And am I capitalizing in on a time when knowledge really is power? It is power to propel those pockets, to be like the Mac. When you walk down the street, people think your pockets got the mumps. Oh my God, for my old heads that are listening to me. Classic Black exploitation, by the way. But yeah. So I don't know, big deal. I don't trust banks. I'm going to take my money and I'm going to put it under a mattress. Now, I had a grandfather that say he had a stash pot in the house, but he also had a pension. He also kept money in the bank, and he did all those things, but he never talked to me about when I got a job, how I should, get a pension plan, or, eventually it started turning into 401ks. And nobody even talked to me about getting a bank account in the family that I was raised in the household where I was raised. I remember when I graduated from high school, my auntie Vanessa, which is one of my mother's sisters, she actually was the one who said, hey, come with me. And she was with the Postal Credit Union. She's like, here's your checking account, your savings account. You need to have both. And I kind of just learned from there, on the go. What does it mean to, do direct deposit or put your money in the bank and, savings. And I did a shitty ass job. I really, really did. And so if I could say anything else, I would just say, examine yourself. Ask yourself if what you really do is who you really are. Because I'll be honest with you, I can have these moments where I can just go spend all the fucking money that I have. I can think about it back in the day when I would be like, oh, this isn't the most responsible thing to do, but I go buy a shit ton of clothes and buy a bunch of shit because I knew that I could make the money back. Be embarrassed and be able to take care of myself shape the way that I handle money and my fears associated when I would get more of it. And so there's a lot of work that has been done and has to continue to be done in order for me to say, hey, you don't handle money like you used to. And so your expectations for what that money can do for you and should do for you should be different. So I'm actually going to leave that there. I want you to reflect on that. And we'll probably come back to this episode at another time. But I will say this. I have a young woman that I spoke with, and she was talking about how easy it was for her to make money in her business and the kind of money that she made. But then when she kind of ventured off and she did something different, she was always waiting for that one big month. And so she would, easily drop $9,000 down on a coaching program. But every time her kids maybe wanted to do gymnastics or something like that, it was like, just wait. Because I'm waiting on this big month in my business. And by the time they got older and her business started changing, it's kind of like, Mom, I could have been to the Olympics by now. So, who cares, about gymnastics. And she was so bent out of shape about building her business that she forgot to build some memories. And so that's one of the pains that, we have to face as women. She's one of the speakers in the Authentic Collective Summit. If you have not signed up yet, you need to. We kick off on the 11th. It's around the corner. It's around the freaking corner. That's this Wednesday coming up. And so when we say that we're talking about the pains and the things that, hit us and prevent us from showing up authentically in our business, yeah. Are you really showing up authentically with your money? That is the question. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Make sure you sign up. All right. I love you. Deuces.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in